Cinco, but it's our pleasure to welcome now Bain Nickels, president of Nickels Wealth. Bain, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation.
You bet. So tell us about your firm.
So we're a financial planning firm based out of Columbus. Been in business for the last 20 years. Local to Columbus. Grew up in Columbus. Went to school at Mississippi State, and then been back home for about 20 years. So
yeah.
Glad to be here. Lots changed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What do you think about the topsy-turvy financial markets we've witnessed in the past 3 months? Have been something. A couple of months, really, I guess.
I tell you, it's been a fun ride. You know, we try to educate our clients to stay the course and tune out the noise as much as possible. And I think the last 2 or 3 months have been a masterclass in the wisdom of that, right? You know, prior to these recent announcements we've had with the tariff deals, which have been positive,
yeah.
As of 2 Fridays ago, we had no good news in the on all the news media, yet the market had 9 positive days in a row.
Yeah.
Can't tell you why that happened, but those that jumped off missed it.
Yeah.
So first time this happened in 20 years, so it's been a fun ride. Little
pullback today, last I checked, and I'm not really sure what's driving that today. We got the PPI report, which looked good.
Yeah, day to day, it's driven by the news of the day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But all in all, we're very bullish, and I think there's good times ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right. The I like to think that the American equity markets really are the greatest wealth generating machine in history, and will continue to be.
That's what history shows us, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's important, is it not, Bain, that folks think about a balanced portfolio, and it really depends on their particular objectives, their age and status in life. You guys help them with those sorts of decisions?
Absolutely. You know, most of our retirees our clients are retirees.
Okay.
And, you know, it looks much different today than it did 20, 30 years ago. You know, for an average couple we work with that retires in the early 60s, we got a plan on 30 years, right? So
yeah.
It's still a long-term plan. So the temptation, I think, is to maybe get too conservative with it, which works if you retire at 60 and die at 65. But in most cases, we're planning on a 20 to 30-year plan even after retirement. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, a lot of people now are in their retirement years for almost as long as they work.
Absolutely.
So it becomes more critical that they think about that long-term plan across their retirement years.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the future of interest rates? Would you like to hazard a guess on that? I won't hold you to it, but that's anybody's guess at this point, right?
You know, I spent a lot of time early in my career reading all the experts' stuff they put out, listening, and I realized I was wasting my time and everybody else's. If Trump has his way with Powell, we'll get rates lowered, but
right.
Powell doesn't seem to be budging thus far, so we'll see what happens. I think a report came out a few days ago that inflation data maybe come down a little bit.
So,
yeah. That may change Powell's mind. We'll see.
Seems like they're pretty much stuck that until we get to that magical 2% level, they're not going to move on it. But the market is forecasting and baking in 2-3 cuts possibly this year, just not exactly sure of the timing.
I think so, and of course the market's been pretty good in spite of the rates.
Yeah.
So I think that shows there's a lot of resilience and a lot of underlying strength there.
Yeah. How do you explain, like today you got the 10-year, the 2-year going up. We've had a pretty good run, as you just explained, with equities. Usually those go in different directions, but that's not the case right now. What's up?
It's been inverse here for sure. You know, it's a type thing. It's like the market short term. It's hard to decide or figure out what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Most of what we do for our clients is long-term equity strategies.
Okay. Of course, the Congress is in the process of negotiating the one big beautiful bill. Details released. Looks like there at least one hurdle or two have been passed with Ways and Means and the energy subcommittees. How much are you incorporating that into your planning? Because it could be a big difference maker.
Well, so for most retirees, their biggest partner is the federal government in the form of taxes.
Yeah.
So taxes are a huge part of our financial plans. We'll see what happens. You know, there's a lot of talk about not taxing Social Security, things of that nature. It's hard for me to fathom that with the debt our country has. They're going to be able to work that out, but we'll see. Trump's been able to push some things through.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but certainly we'll stay abreast of any changes and make the adjustments as we need to.
Well, then estate taxes, which looks like that the exemption there is going to actually increase on for inheritance, for the passing on of an estate. If the Democrats had their way, honestly, they would reduce, if not totally eliminate that. And then you got to figure that into your planning as well, right?
Absolutely. And, with that, that's a moving target as well. They're set to expire, so we'll see what happens, and we'll make adjustments as we need to. A lot of uncertainty.
Do you feel like, or do your peers, I guess, and markets in general, do you get the impression they're kind of sitting on the edge of their seat a little bit, waiting for legislation to pass, knowing that until that's the case, we're looking at the possibility of the Trump tax cuts expiring, and that investors, businesses, the markets in general are just waiting for that? Will that be a watershed event, do you think, that will power markets forward?
It's hard to imagine Trump with the group he's got up there now not getting the deal done. That's hard to imagine. I think the reality is, what is it going to look like? They probably won't get everything they want.
Yeah.
There's some pushback right now on the salt limits in New York. That's kind of the thing of the day I was hearing about.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic they'll get a deal done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just feels like that once the president signs off on that legislation, there's going to be a sigh of relief, and we're going to see a lot of money come off the sidelines, hopefully.
Absolutely.
And into the markets, which would be good for us. Well, tell us about the local economy. I assume a lot of your customers kind of come from the local area. That's where you serve, or you got them all over?
That's the thing about the link and the work they do with these Megasite programs. Certainly it benefits the thousands of people that now have jobs at these industries. I think we're up to 11,000 people now in the last 20 years. But it goes far beyond that. My business is in the financial planning business. We've got a steady stream of retirees that's coming from this industry.
Okay.
It helps us. One of my best friends is a building contractor. He builds houses for many of the guys and ladies that work out here. So, 11,000 jobs, $11 billion invested. But it's far more reaching than that, the impact. It certainly impacted our business in a positive way.
Yeah. Well, what would you tell a person who's approaching retirement and they've saved, they've got a nest egg, maybe they're thinking about, I'll just go at it on my own and I'll manage those funds through retirement, or they could engage the services of a professional such as you and your firm. What would be your pitch to them?
Yeah, so we don't have, a lot of people in our business, they pitch, we've got better investments than everybody else. The reality of it is we all offer the same stuff. Yeah. But I'm convinced that the dominant factor in being successful long-term in an investment is really having a thoughtful plan and the diligence to stick to that.
Okay.
And I spend a lot of my time helping people plan and then really helping really smart people from making dumb decisions.
Okay.
And so human nature is you're prone to make some mistakes along the way.
Sure.
And I'm convinced that one mistake every 15, 20 years can be really, really costly. So that's really the role we play with clients, is just helping smart people from making mistakes.
That's a good way to put it. And of course, you guys in your industry, you have access to lots of resources and assets and tools that the average person is just not going to have. We
do. And it's certainly that's there. And quite frankly, even though a lot of people probably could handle their own stuff, they've got other interests.
Yeah.
And so that creates opportunities for us. Yeah.
Well, this big Megasite, the Cinco Megasite, I mean, this is going to be a huge shot in the arm to what is already a very strong economy here in the region.
Thinking back, I'm from Columbus, went to school at Mississippi State. 25 years ago, driving down this highway in front of us here, Gerard, really the Golden Triangle Airport was the only thing between Columbus and Starkville.
Yeah. And
nowadays it looks much, much different, in large part to the Megasite program. And thinking about that, I think I heard maybe Joe or one of the other guests you had talking about maybe this being the easiest deal here.
Yeah.
But I want to give a lot of credit to Joe and the supervisors back 20 years ago, thinking about the investment, the guts it takes to invest the kind of capital into these projects with no guarantee.
Long-term play.
As you think about the return of, the job I play every day, we're looking at return on investment. The Megasite program has a unbelievable return on investment in Lowndes County, but we didn't know that 25 years ago.
No doubt about it.
And the people that had the guts to put the money up and to put it out there, certainly we're reaping the benefits for that today.
It's fantastic. Really big day. Bain Nickels, president of Nickels Wealth, has been our guest here on Middays. Appreciate you coming on, Bain.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate the opportunity. Glad to have you guys in town.
We're glad to be here. Well, right now we're taking a break. Once again, we're at the Golden Triangle Development LINK celebrating the new Cinco Megasite. We're coming right back. Stay with us.